Now, good morning. We are going to start the story, that is prose, a horse and two goats. A horse and two goats. Now here the story is by famous Indian writer R.K. Narayan. Okay, R.K. Narayan, if you remember the story Malgudi Days, before the books used to come where it was telling about the fictional story of South Indians, kind of comedy and all. That is a book known as Malgudi Days. Series also were there in TV, serials also related to Malgudi Days. These all stories were written by R.K. Narayan. Usually he used to write humorous stories. Humorous, funny kind of stories which makes people happy. And it will have some kind of conversation or some kind of thing which will make the people excited to know. And that also R.K. Narayan stories implies about the situation of life. Like this, a horse and two goats also is an amusing story. At the same time, it is a situational comedy. A comedy based on a situation. And that situation will tell you that sometime what people face in their life. What all difficulties, what all things they face in their life. That is also depicted in the story. But at the same time, it is a comedy which will make you laugh, which will make you think, oh, see the people, the lifestyle and all these things. So he is an Indian writer. He wrote Malgudi Days and he usually writes humorous stories, funny stories. And this story, A Horse and Two Goats, is speaking about two characters here. One is the English-speaking American and second is the illiterate South Indian villager who is from Tamil Nadu. Okay? So first thing it can be clear to you, one thing the problem will come what? Conversation. Means the problem will be, sit there. Means the problem will be the conversation, like a South Indian person speaking to an Englishman. Will they both understand each other? No. If a foreigner come here, a teacher from foreign country, speaking to you, you know English, but still the style, the accent, it will be very difficult for you all to understand. Or if someone come from any other place, South and all, you all don't know South Indian language, you speak Sindhi, he speaks Tamil or Malayalam and all, then how you are going? It will be very difficult. You will only understand through gestures, some kind of smile, some kind of gestures, or if a written way something is written, that will be clear. So you can understand in this story, these two characters, English-speaking American and illiterate South Indian villager, they had a conversation. Now just imagine how would be their conversation. Definitely, American will say something else, South Indian will understand something else. South Indian will say something else, American will understand something else. So this thing all through it was going on. So here that is telling, and here this South Indian villager is also having, he is a married person, he is having a wife who is always torturing him because they are very poor. The South Indian man is a poor man, they are just daily earning, they are getting to eat, to survive, and he is not bringing that much money also. And then he demands for high foods, prepare this, prepare that. She gets irritated. She gets nothing you are bringing and ordering me to prepare all these things. How I will do? And she at the same time go for household work. Like a servant, she goes for household work, she does. Something she gets from there, she had love for husband also. She thinks he will come from along after tiring work, he will be hungry, I should prepare. So she goes for work. For a household work, she gets some money, she brings certain things and all to prepare and she prepare and keep. But she does everything. But at the same time, she feels irritated to bear the orders of the husband. Order of her husband that she always torture him like that. And he feels so bad, he moves away. And he does not do any great work. He just take his goats and all, he go to a very to the place which is end to the village. There is a statue of a horse. He sits there and he sent his goats for gazing and all. He sent his goats. And nothing, whole day he sits there and relax. Look here and there, then he returned back. The wife is thinking he is doing a great work, he is struggling there, but nothing he does like that. In the beginning of their life, he had sheep, he had goats, everything. But slowly and steadily everything was coming to an end. Sheep, and only he was left with 2 goats. Now what to do with the 2 goats? But daily he used to take to the statue of the horse. There is the statue of the horse. He sits there and the goats moves around and all things they do, and he sits there only. And evening time he take the goats and return back. That is only his work. And then he eat and he sleeps. And then only once a day when he was sitting on that pedestrian place where the horse statue was there, he met an American. And from there their conversation started, and from there the scene is little like funny. How they had a conversation, what the American wanted and what the South Indian understood, and how the misunderstanding took place, and finally he had to get again the scolding from his wife. That what he got for it. He thought, I am going to get the money in return, but actually he did not get that what he wanted, and he really paid a lot for it. And he got scolding from his wife for the mistake what he did. Okay, so this all thing you will see in this story, how the thing goes on. So first part you will see of the South Indian man with his lifestyle, his wife and all these things. So let us start the story. It starts like this: of the 700,000 villages dotting the map of India, Kritam was probably the tiniest, indicated on the district survey map by a microscopic dot. So the village where this man lived, the village name was Kritam. And Kritam was a very small, in the map also it was with a small spot. Dotting means with the small spot this village was indicated. Which village? Kritam, this Kritam village where this man used to live. But its size did not prevent its giving itself the grandiose name Kritam. Even the size is small on the map, but the name or the ways, the lifestyle of the people is grandiose. Grandiose means a grand way. The name is very grand, but the place on the map is very small. Which meant in Tamil, coronet or crown. What is the meaning of Kritam in Tamil? In Tamil, crown. That is the meaning. Crown. And crown is not for a simple person, no. It's for a king or what? Prince or king. So the name is very heavy, but the place is very small. On the brow of this subcontinent, the village consisted of less than 30 houses, only one of them built with brick and cement. Less than 30 houses were there. Out of that, one house was built with brick and cement, means a proper house. Painted a brilliant yellow and blue all over with gorgeous carvings of gods and gargoyles. Gargoyles means the faces of human or animals. You might have seen old buildings and all, like a monument kind. What do you find there? The coin, the face of human, the face of animals. That kind of carving was done. Face of a human, face of an animal. That is known as gargoyles. Gargoyles means human or animal's face. On its balustrade. Balustrade means the railing side. Near the staircase you see a railing. So near that railing there were different paintings, or you can say the carving of human faces or animals' faces. It was known as the big house, and that house which was cemented, which was with the brick, where there was carving, that house was known as big house. That house, only one house was here which was known as big house out of 30 houses. Then the other houses distributed in 4 streets were generally of bamboo thatch, straw, mud and other unspecified material. One house was well-to-do, proper brick cemented, and other houses were what? with bamboo hatches, with straw, with mud, and very unspecified many. Means it was very like small hut and all. Poor houses. The other houses, Muni's was the last house in the 4th street, beyond which stretched the field. And where was Muni's house? At the last, 4th street. So this villager, the South Indian villager, name was Muni. So Muni's house was at the last 4th street, and his house was also not so proper one. And after the house, the field starts. Muni had, in his prosperous days, Muni had owned a flock of 40 sheep and goats. You should remember it. Muni, at the time when he was like having a good time, he had how many sheep? 40 sheep and goats. Prosperous life means when he was leading a very sophisticated, very hi-fi kind of life. That time he was having 40 sheep and goats. So if a person having that time, people having cows, buffalo, sheep, goat, they are considered to be rich people. So he was having 40 sheep and goats, and what he used to do there? And sailed forth every morning, driving the flock to the highway a couple of miles away, and he used to take them every morning to drive for to a couple of miles. He used to go take them. There he would sit on the pedestal of a clay statue. Pedestal means you know, the side on the road side where the people walk. He used to sit there near the clay statue of a horse where his cattle grazed around. So I told you there was a statue of a horse statue. He used to sit there, and the sheep and goats used to graze around. He carried a crook at the end of a bamboo pole and snapped foliage from the avenue trees to feed his food. Snap foliage means break the leaves. The tree was there. He used to take out the leaves and give to the sheep and goats. He used to give them. He also gathered faggots and dry sticks, bundled them and carried them home for fuel at sunset. The dry sticks and all, when he used to go home, he used to carry them. He used to take to his house for the burning purpose, for making meals and all. It will be useful. His wife lit the domestic fire at dawn, boiled water in a mud pot, threw into it a handful of millet flour. Millet means, you know, cereal. Like you have flour means for making chapati and all. That way it is another kind of flour, millet flour, which you can make a thick kind of chapati from it. So she used to make it, add salt, and gave him his first nourishment for the day. When he used to go, that same dry stick, she used to lit fire, boil the water, make the food for him, used to give him. When he started out, she would put in his hand a packed lunch. Once again, the same millet cooked into a little ball, which he could swallow with a raw onion at midday. Then she would also pack a lunch for him. Same millet, she used to make you eat the things, no, for a small round way. She used to prepare it, boil it, and with the things she used to give. That she used to pack, that when he will go there for the work, lunchtime he can take. His fortune had declined gradually, unnoticed. From a flock of 40, he drove into a pen at night. Pen means a small enclosure in a small set. His stock had now come down to 2 goats. From 40 sheep and goats, he came into what? 2. Slowly the things were declining, which were tethered to the trunk of a drumstick tree, which grew in front of him hut, and from which occasionally Muni could shake down drumstick. Drumstick you have eaten? Drumstick is a long way. You make in sambar and all you put, no? Yes. Same thing it is. So you can fry it, whatever. So that tree was there. And that tree is very thin. Not very hefty kind. Thin tree. There he used to tie his goats also. And sometime when he feel hungry, he shake that tree. Drumsticks fall down and he used to prepare it, boil it. This morning he got 6. He carried them in with a sense of triumph. 6 drumsticks he got. He was very happy. Something will get to eat. although no one could say precisely who owned the tree. It was his because he lived in its shadow. No one knowing whose tree it was, but it was near to his house, so he considered it to be his tree. His wife said, if you were content with the drumstick leaves alone, I could boil and salt some for you. The wife said, if you want to eat the leaves of the drumstick, bring the leaves, I will boil, I will salt it and I will give you. Oh, I am tired of eating those leaves. I have a craving to chew the drumstick out of sauce, I tell you. Now wife, according to the situation, she said, give the leaves. Now he what demanded, oh, I am tired of eating those leaves. I want the drumstick to be boiled and given to me. Now demanding more. Definitely the wife will get irritated, not having money, not bringing anything. She said, okay, I'll give you this. So he's demanding for drumstick. You have only 4 teeth in your jaw. She got irritated. She said, only you are having 4 teeth. But your craving is for big things. But you want big things. Nothing you are having, but you want big things. Alright, get the stuff for the sauce and I will prepare it for you. She said, okay, bring the things, provisions, you want sauce and all, no? So bring the things, I will prepare. After all, next year you may not be alive to ask for anything. He said, eat, only 4 teeth left, eat everything. Bring the thing, I will make, anyway next year you are not going to be alive. But first get me all the stuff, including a measure of rice or millet, and I will satisfy your unholy craving. He said, bring everything, rice also, millet also, and whatever you craving inside, I will satisfy it. I will prepare everything and you eat how much you want. Our store is empty today. She said, our store, nothing is there. Dal, chili, curry leaves, mustard, coriander, gingerly oil, 1 large potato. Go out and get all this. She demanded more. You want to eat? Bring all these things. He repeated the list after her in order not to miss any item and walked off to the shop in the 3rd street. Now in front of wife, he did not want to show himself to be low. He said, okay, give the list. I will bring. When she asked, he also repeated. He said, okay, I am going. Like a husband, no. He cannot be down. He said, okay, I will bring. But how to bring? No money, nothing. He went. Muni sat patiently on an upturned packing case below the platform of the shop. There was a shop. Outside that he sat. The shopman paid no attention to him. Muni kept clearing his throat, coughing and sneezing until the shopman could not stand it anymore and demanded, what ails you? Now what happened? From the shop he cannot pay and get